packed show coming your way this morning.
We have an incredible show coming your way in the next 55 minutes. What are we going to be talking about? Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine Bear.
That is on the menu. The Gojo gang will be here. We'll see what Brandon screwed up when he married a couple of his friends in Mexico, why he was eating at Subway in Mexico.
We have a lot of questions.
Yeah, true. Also, best field of the year thus far in the PGA Tour, so we'll give you the top DFS picks there.
NBA slate coming our way this evening. Nick Fryer in studio. We're going to get to that, so that'll be really good.
Yes, and a couple franchise icons from the 2010s in the NHL are on the move. We got Paul Bruno breaking all that down for us, so hang out because the sweat is starting right. Meow.
All right, good morning. Yes, we are here in studio like we promised you. Nick Fryer is here, so we're going to start in the NBA.
Hey, what's going on, dude?
Wait. Before we get into tonight's slate, you have something to say about last night's action.
Well, yeah. I mean, so first of all, Kyrie Irving, the Kyrie Irving era is the Mavs are 1-4, which is great.
Okay.
Loving that. But also, I just want to point out that Emerson's MVP got absolutely yammed on last night by Jaren Jackson Jr., Anthony Davis.
Angry right now?
Oh no, because you asked me that stupid question.
This is unbelievable.
Do you know what I'm talking about, right?
I know exactly what you're talking
Thank
about.
you. Your MVP looks like trash right now.
Why?
What say you?
This was a sneak attack, and I am not prepared for this. And you are getting violent. And
I have done nothing. I'm just pointing out facts. I just want people to not forget that Emerson loves Anthony Davis, the most overrated superstar in the NBA.
It's not his fault that everyone around him sucks, and he breaks every other week. Last time LeBron went out, Anthony Davis was the best basketball player on the planet for 2 weeks.
Sure.
And then his leg fell off.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
But hey, no, I do have another question for you because the Bucks have won 15 in a row, right? And then what's the deal with Jokic? 100 career triple doubles.
Yeah.
Wait. So I think the Nuggets are 26-0, or they're undefeated this year when he records a triple double, right?
Yeah.
What's more impressive there? That stat or 15 wins in a row by the Bucks?
I would say that stat because I would never think that anything like that. First of all, him getting as many triple doubles as he does, when he's the sixth player to reach 100 triple doubles, mind blowing. So yeah, I got to say that's. I would think that's the more impressive one. I don't even know what's the longest winning streak in NBA history. I know I'm asking you to pull off the top of your head, but yeah.
24 triple doubles this season.
It's
wild.
Tough to wrap my mind around. Here's the problem though, because I saw an NBA player point this out the other day. I think it was Nick Young, who why am I quoting Nick Young?
I don't know.
But he talked about when Russell Westbrook played in OKC and he was getting triple doubles every other night. Of course, a little bit different, but still averaged it over the course of 2-3 seasons, something like that, which was unheard of other than when Oscar Robertson did it years ago. But it was hollow stats. And now we're seeing the same thing with Jokic, where he might win his third MVP. And it's what does it really matter if it doesn't turn into titles at some point?
Is he stat padding?
I mean, look, it's happening in the flow of the game and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's just it's not necessarily stat padding, I guess, in this case. But it's just if it's not manifesting into a title, then at some point does it really matter?
Yeah. It's the same argument with Dame. Incredible, regular season, these unbelievable moments, maybe even in the first round. But yeah, dude, where are the rings on the finger?
Yeah, but he also got but he's had it's different. With Lillard, he's a guard. He's not he doesn't have CJ McCollum is a good player, but I've never looked at him as that ideal Robin. I hate using the term, but it's just this is what it is.
All right, tonight.
Big night, baby.
Tonight.
Speaking of Robins,
9-game slate.
Yes.
Yes.
KD's props are out now.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like his point total 20.5. Would you go over or under that mark?
Over. I know it's a new setting, and honestly, I was thinking coming into today, where's it going to be? It's probably going to be at 23, maybe 25.5. to see it open at 20.5, I was just thinking, really? Like, I understand it's a new setting and everything like that, and that would make me a bit apprehensive at certain numbers, at like a 25.5, maybe even at a 23.5, but 20.5, I mean, he gets this in his sleep. 35 of 39 games, he's gone over this number this season. So, yeah, I'm very comfortable with this. Going up against the Hornets, I know it's not going to be as up-tempo with no LaMelo Ball in this game, but another prop worth looking at, the value's not there quite as much right now, but Chris Paul over 8.5 assists.
Are we overestimating, I guess, the effect that Durant is going to have on this offense? He's
His
10
debut here, I mean.
he's 10-7 on the
shot in the arm.
DFS side.
Yeah, I mean, from a DFS side, I will say if you're looking for like a high value contrarian play, then I think he's a legitimate option there. But I'm still like apprehensive. So if you're running multiple lineups, yeah, I would mix him in. But still, like when I see Kevin Durant like right here, right now, we just don't know what that's going to turn into. I think it'll turn into at least 21 points, but I just don't know if you're going to get the value you need from it.
I mean, he's been out for almost 2 months. He's probably going to be on a minutes restriction.
One would think, but I would think too that Phoenix is going to want to try and get him as involved as possible too. So like I do, and that's a fair point when you're talking about the sportsbook side of things, but even more so from DFS. Like I don't see him giving you the value you need at that price tag.
I mean, it feels like it's just been ages since we've seen him actually play basketball. Do you think his third super team stint will be a success?
Third one.
Yeah.
Third time's the charm.
Yeah.
This
Well, I mean,
porridge
like
is just right.
it was successful with the Warriors. We all know that. I mean, we all know how the crap hit the fan with Brooklyn, but like this time around.
Yeah, Brooklyn
This
stuff is
time
amazing.
around,
I mean, I would think at some point it will probably work. I mean, Devin Booker is obviously a very good player, but Kevin Durant, here's my issue right now with him. He's getting old. We're seeing injuries pop up. And I know the Achilles thing was a freak thing, but still at an older age and still having that to monitor. And then now we're seeing a knee thing. Maybe they're obviously going to be a good team. Obviously they're very high up on the sportsbook side of things, but. Yeah, I don't think it's going to work out this year. Maybe a couple years, maybe they'll get one title out of this, but I can't imagine it being more than that.
Do you like the Suns as what 10?
They're 10-point favorites.
10-point
now.
favorites, dude.
They're banged up. The Hornets,
and they've defeated the Hornets by an average of 32 points in the last 3 meetings.
Yeah, and no LaMelo Ball too. So that's the big thing for me in this one. I know the Suns aren't the best team against the spread this season, but they're like 53% success rate against the spread, I think. But when you look at the Hornets, they're not even 50-50 as home underdogs this season. The big thing for me, on top of Durant being, I think, a shot in the arm for them tonight, and then the Suns being healthy by and large, is they are 17-10-1 against the spread following a loss.
All right, we talked about this at the start of the show. Bucks have ripped off 15 straight wins. Absolutely unreal. Celtics are not in first place in the East for the first time in 2023.
Yeah, today's March, so we're a couple months in.
Yeah, just a few. Boston's still the favorite at plus 110 to finish the regular season with the most wins. Milwaukee right behind them at plus 130. Who would you bet on?
Right now, it would be the Celtics. I gotta say. What do you?
I just feel like when Jeff Pratt's here in studio.
This is the exact opposite of that. I always want to try and go against the Celtics because I grew up as a fan, of course. But still, like the thing for me is that they have a pretty similar strength of schedule, which does make it a little bit tougher to kind of weigh this out. But I know Giannis isn't one to want to have load management and everything like that. But I do wonder if the Bucks are going to try and be careful just because he's picked up a couple bumps and bruises along the way. And yeah, it didn't matter for the Bucks when they played the Suns recently, which I was very surprised about. But I think with the Celtics, you got Joe Mazzulla there right now, where he's a young coach, new coach, everything. But he's been there with this team for a while. He's going to want to have his guys have momentum going into the postseason. And I don't think the Celtics are going to just go and poo-poo home court advantage, in the postseason as much as they could do fine without it.
The Bucks didn't lose in the month of February.
It's wild.
Unbelievable. What impresses you the most about this run that they are on? Does something really stand out to you?
I mean, right now, when I see that Giannis has bumps and bruises, what was it, the game right before the break? He ends up leaving, he was questionable.
Yeah, that was weird.
But
then he comes back and puts up 30-something points.
But
right?
he ended up leaving the game early for a different injury. That was the quad thing, I believe.
Yeah.
So they still win that one. And then you have the Suns game where I thought the Suns were going to pull that one off. No Giannis, I'm fine. I'm going with the Suns, and then they still managed to win that one. It was a squeaker, but still. So I think just being able to survive without Giannis at this point in time is huge. But again, it only matters so much now because when you get to the postseason, they won't be able to survive without him.
All right, so dialing it back into this slate tonight, fantasy-wise here, Nick, 9 games. Giannis, the highest priced dude on this slate at 12-3. Lillard's there at 11-9. Joel Embiid. We've already talked about Durant. There's Jason Tatum. Who the hell would you pay up for tonight?
Well, I mean, I just want to stick with. My favorite play tonight is actually in the mid-range, which is always weird for us to dig into because where does that fit in your lineup? But you always got to find mid-range guys. Generally speaking, Kelly Oubre. I've been waiting for him to come back, and he has been back since after the break. He's 6.5K. Of course, we're talking about the Suns game quite a bit. No LaMelo Ball. He's been huge for him this season, 26.8% usage rate when no LaMelo Ball for the Hornets this season. And only Terry Rozier has a higher usage rate in that setting than on the Hornets. He's 7.2K. He's a justifiable option too, Terry Rozier. But I think with Kelly Oubre right now, after an extended absence, we've seen him increase his fantasy output game by game. I think this is a spot that he can go off where Rozier could as well, but I think he's going to be a little bit more of an obvious play for people tonight.
All right, so kind of a mid-range pick for you, but what about like some value here on the slate? You already kind of gave us one.
Well, I think that a strategy that you kind of could employ if you want to is trying to bring in Gordon Hayward as well. Now, we're talking 6K range and everything as well, but I think if you go that route, you can save quite a bit of money with those two guys. Hayward, I understand that for him and Oubre, they're going to be pulling from each other a little bit, but with no LaMelo Ball, I really think that you could see quite a few guys pop off here.
All right, Fry, we'll get you out of here with this. Favorite bet on DK Sportsbook. Hit us with it quickly.
Yeah, the Knicks, 7.5 minus, against the Nets, excuse me.
You've been on the Knicks like all season.
I am.
Past few weeks, which is okay because they've been good bets.
Yes.
You've been giving out good bets.
Yes, we've lucked out in that regard. And I know that the last time the Nets saw the Knicks, Bridges was not in the mix, Dinwiddie was. But the Knicks are 20-14 against the spread after a win, and then 16-13 against the spread as home favorites this season.
All right, dude.
All right, good stuff.
Thank you very
Nick,
much.
thank you for being here.
I don't get to talk Cocaine Bear?
Oh, did you want to?
Did you?
What do you have to say?
I did. It's exactly what you would expect it to be, and I thought they accomplished that. It was solid.
Well, great.
Well, good, because Mike Golick Jr. is going to join us next. So is Brandon. We got the Gojo gang here. And Mike Golick Jr. Recently talked to one of the stars from that movie, O'Shea Jackson Jr.
Oh, well, I mean,
so he's going to bring us up to speed on that conversation right after, because it is combine time right now around the NFL. Draft combine, scouting combine. And you know what? Brandon and Mike did something a little similar to that during our time in Arizona for the Super Bowl.
Mike Golick Jr., Brandon Newman, we had to come sneak up to the NFL experience to see if, quite frankly, we still have the juice. Hazel's a beautiful color. I can understand why you'd make that choice.
It would look really nice, the contrast of my beautiful skin.
It would pop really well. All right, so we wanted to make sure we got a field goal try in here.
Wide left.
Wide left.
Oh, okay, more difficult.
No!
I lifted my finger.
What you're doing is not the reason these kicks are going bad. There it is. Actually made it.
This one for my mama.
Mama!
I love you, mama. We're warming up, baby. We're just getting better.
All right, a little scramble action going right here. Got to work through the obstacle course. Listen to where the arrow points you. Agility on display. All right. Ooh, pop. Oh, okay. Ooh. Woo. All right,
Give me my say hi.
say hit. No.
Missed it completely. Dang it.
I'm pretty confident I won that one, especially since you got the 2-second penalty. Your only shot at redemption is a 40-yard dash. Brandon, hell of a win.
Thank you. I was about that life.
You are about that life.
I thought you could carry me off if I did anything, but
Yep.
also knew I was faster than your ass.
Wow.
Oh my God, that was unbelievable. See how
It's-
quickly
yeah.
they started sweating?
No, that's not what I saw. I
Oh.
just saw incredible feats of athleticism.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And you sweat when that happens.
How would you know?
That's a good question. Dude, listen, left bench, man. First team left bench
Okay.
for me in high school.
Okay, that's great.
right,
Well,
let's go.
the
Bring 'em on.
guys who were just in that video are actually here right now. We have Mike Golick Jr. and Brandon Newman joining the show at this very moment. Here they are. Brandon, you've still got your vacation hat on.
And my Lakers jersey.
Let's
that
go.
I was wearing frequently on the beach as well.
Yeah.
Thank you for noticing.
So last week, like you were getting ready to head to Mexico to marry a couple friends. How did everything go?
Everything went very well. People were asking me to officiate their wedding, so it went well. Obviously, they said the same things that they would say if they've ever seen me on the Sweat. You're thoughtful, funny, very handsome. You know, a voice for television and not radio. You know, the same stuff.
Yeah. Emerson wants to know if you spelled their names right on the marriage certificate.
Didn't it? Because, right, didn't you share with us last week you had made that mistake in the past and now those people technically aren't married. So did you get it right? Did you get it right this time?
I did. I think they may have heard about that before because they got legally married in Los Angeles before getting married in Mexico. So this
so you
was
couldn't
kind of
screw
all a
this up.
show, and I played my part well.
Okay. The other thing that we have to ask is, so you're in Mexico, right? Obviously, they have like amazing food, amazing drink, but you chose Subway.
Right? Saw that on your Instagram story. So
We
why is this
chose
guy
it.
in Mexico eating at Subway?
On-brand Brandon Newman thing possible,
Did
by
you
the
get like
way.
a tuna melt in Mexico?
I did not. I went for the Italiano BMT. I
Like,
don't know if I said that
Smart
correctly.
move.
just explain yourself. Not an ad, but could be.
Yeah, it's true. Subway, your name here. Looking for a sponsor anyway. Brandon,
Well, you know, when you're in a foreign land, you try to find home in any way you possibly can, and you grab onto it. And if it's in a 12-inch Italian BMT with extra cheese, then you know that's my home.
that's like going to Japan and eating at KFC.
Yeah, I mean,
You know?
I
But
would have
it's right
probably have
Yeah.
chosen something else, but
Just really quick follow-up. Brandon, your skin looks incredibly smooth. Do you wax or you get your hair lasered off? Like, why does it look so smooth?
Emerson's
I have a
asking because he
routine
gets
that I
his
will
eyebrows
not waste
waxed.
the rest of the viewers'
Okay.
time with. We can get the rotator
Well-
chip thread for that.
No, you know what? This isn't wasting time. That's you being selfish
Yeah.
and not wanting to share
That's
with the rest
called
of us.
gatekeeping your skincare routine. And hot girls don't gatekeep, okay?
Hot girls don't gatekeep, Brandon.
Thank
Lock
you.
in over there.
Thank you.
Hey, listen, okay, I'll make a video since everyone's combing my, searching
Yes.
my social media for
Yeah.
content. I'll make a video. of my
Okay, it's
skin
like
routine.
one of the TikTok get ready with me like skincare routine videos. We'll be waiting for that.
I am in because I mean Mike's complete opposite. I've seen how hairy Mike's body is, and we just watched you two guys crush the NFL experience during Super Bowl week. So the scouting combine is going down as we speak in Indianapolis. What storylines have your attention here, Mike? Or are you just stoked to watch all these meaty dudes just crank out a bunch of strength reps?
Yeah, I mean, listen, obviously now we've got to put off separate to the side all of the news that's going on with Jalen Carter right now and some of the legal situation that's arisen around a guy who was in the conversation for the #1 overall pick. I know as we're on this show, he was scheduled to be at the podium answering questions at the combine, and now considering that there is a warrant out for his arrest for 2 misdemeanors in the state of Georgia in connection with a traffic accident that unfortunately cost the lives of one of their teammates and a football staffer this last December. We've got to kind of separate that from the conversation because now that's going to be something we all just do sitting and waiting on. That's for the legal people to figure out and tell us, hey, what do we make of this now as you've got a high-profile draft prospect all of a sudden implicated in something this serious? As we get to the real football side of things here, I'm like everybody else. I'm fascinated to watch the quarterbacks that are going to go out there and perform. We know that Bryce Young is not going to throw here. He's going to throw at Alabama's Pro Day, but you're going to see CJ Stroud. You're going to see Will Levis, and we're going to get to see Anthony Richardson, I believe, do everything. And if you're looking for the show, Anthony Richardson is the show. The first game of this last year, I called the Utah and Florida game down in the swamp. And it was me and about 9 NFL scouts down in the corner of the end zone pregame watching that young man warm up. I have seen few athletes as put together, especially at that position at quarterback, as you saw with Anthony Richardson there. So watching what he is going to do there, I think first and foremost jumps up my list of things I'm excited to check out.
Does anything tickle your fancy, Brandon, when it comes to the scouting combine every year?
Yes, obviously seeing as Mike's dad says, the underwear Olympics is always tantalizing. And you get a chance to see people run and jump and twist and catch. But what I like is the fact that Aaron Rodgers and Derek Carr are holding the picks hostage right now. No one knows what they're going to do. Therefore, these clubs like the Colts that should be moving up and getting that number 1 pick from the Bears are just kind of sitting around waiting to figure out what they're going to do.
All right, so we just mentioned strength reps.
Yeah.
Mike, came across an old tweet of yours from like 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, boy.
And, 'cause I was in
As you can
detective
see,
mode yesterday. So you had 31 during your pro day. Be honest, did you really run a 4.540? Like, no way.
Listen, the proof is right there on the page, all right? The internet has never once told a lie. And so I don't know why you guys are asking me questions that have obvious answers. Yes, I was a special and unique athlete. I had spent years at that point honing and crafting my body. And then going through this pre-draft process, guys, you learn all the tricks. You go to these combine big box factories and they teach you how to get a better start. And so that probably brought me down from like a 4.65 range down into the 4.5s and made me all of that priority undrafted free agent money.
Brandon doesn't
Brandon's
believe
just
it.
shaking his head now.
Oh, this is another result of how flawed the entire system is. Like the fact that one person can say one thing and one person wrote the words wrong. I believe that was probably flipped. It was probably a 4.85 and a 4.75.
Okay, that's
max.
still not bad.
No, wait a minute. What am I talking about? No, the whole thing was jumbled up.
It's just,
The whole thing was jumbled. It was like a 5.47.
This is like a resume where you could just be like, yeah, I graduated cum laude. And it's like, well, no one checked.
Right?
Like,
who's going to actually look? You can turn on the game tape and see. I clearly have never been anywhere approaching that fast in my life. You guys just watched me race against Brandon. If a person that at one point ran a 4.52 could run as slow as I did in that video, I would want them tested for whatever the opposite of a steroid is, which I actually believe in my case is the leftover Halloween candy that I've been eating a steady diet of since the holiday, and I just finally got the courage to throw out today.
That's just the donuts coursing through your veins.
gotta get you on the Brandon Subway diet.
I did have 31 reps on the bench, though. That number is legitimate. That number I worked for. I 100% did that.
Hell yeah.
Brandon's
Hell yeah, brother.
Still skeptical.
Equally as surprising as the 4.540.
Brandon,
It isn't wrong to be strong.
Brandon, what was the highlight of your pro day?
Oh my gosh! Honestly, it was when I grew out my hair to try to get taller.
What?
I got a really high box.
I wish we had a
Just put
picture of
ruler
that.
right through that thing. It was kind of demoralizing. But I had my worst. It was just a bad day. My pride was in the way. I decided I wanted to go to Ball State's pro day instead of going to Notre Dame's, which I had a complete option to do. And that was a bad decision off rip. And then I went from doing 34 and 35 reps in the bench press to doing a new technique that somebody there taught me right before I went and ended up putting up like 29 reps in the bench. It was just all a mess.
Wait, so I beat you?
Pulled my hamstring. I pulled my hamstring and pulled up at a 5.240. It was just all bad.
Oh my
I
God.
beat you in the bench press. I didn't know that. I am.
You know damn well that's not
you.
true, Mike. You know
I
damn
am
well that's not
stronger
true.
than you know what? In the recorded history that is the pre-draft process, Brandon, stronger than you. How's that taste?
Wow,
Probably not
Brandon.
very good.
And Mike has always praised you for just being this sneakily strong dude. Turns out you're not as strong as we all thought.
Okay, Emerson,
turns
how
out.
many can you do?
Anywho,
Lies.
I could probably, seriously, right now, we brought a bench in here, I could probably crank out like 25. That's fine. We should do a sweat.
I saw your physique at Super Bowl Radio Row.
lot.
Emerson, you're ready for this. You could
Thank
be
you.
a solid H-back.
I mean,
All right,
okay,
all right.
I would just
Wait.
like to say for the record that it's all looks and it's not functional at all. So I could,
I can see that.
That's what my wife says.
I could beat Emerson in a fight. All right, you're both doing just fine not playing on Sundays.
Yeah.
I know there's lots of talk about this. Can we say the same about Tom Brady? There's reports that are coming out that he's considering a stand-up comedy career. No way this is real. Brandon, we know you dabble in stand-up. What advice do you have for Tom Brady? And also, is this
Look how
like
pissed he is.
Is this the male version? The female version is like getting bangs. Like it's like he's like, should I? He's like, should I try stand-up comedy? And everyone around him is just like, yeah, you would look
like,
great
you
doing
look-
stand-up comedy. I love your bangs.
Yes. Tom Brady has officially done too much. He's doing
Yeah.
too much. He's saying too much. If I had any advice for him and how to be a good stand-up comedian is maybe have your writers that handle your social media page actually go on stage for you. He is not ready for that heat. He is apparently getting ready to get roasted in a Netflix series. So that's one of the reasons why he's pushing off that Fox money for a little bit longer. Saying that he's getting into comedy is ridiculous. I would love to see him try to put jokes out there, but his android self, the way his face looks, I'd be laughing at him the entire time.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Mike, if this is real and not just a stunt to help sell more sweatshirts, could you see him being successful at this? Like, he's not, I'm sorry, like, he's a lot of things, but he's not funny.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what? Like, no. And I think that's important because we get asked that question all the time. What would you do if it was not possible for you to fail? Tom Brady's been so rich and successful for so long that that's how he approaches every decision in his life. Like, I can't fail. I'm Tom Brady. So this is an important opportunity to see a control in the experiment, right? Very rarely do we get to see someone who's not into stand-up comedy go and attempt this very difficult thing. Like, I give Brandon credit all the time. Stand-up is not something I could even begin to think about doing. It is completely outside of me. And so if you want to see bad stand-up comedy, you normally got to track it down in some dimly lit bar. We're going to get to see Tom Brady's set leak at some point. And if it's bad, it's going to be like when we got to watch him struggle in the match playing golf against Aaron Rodgers and those guys. Deeply satisfying to the layperson who realizes Tom may be more like us than we could have ever imagined.
Gentlemen, it's time to do that thing we like. It's time to do that thing America likes. Time to hand out your Gojo Rose of the Week. Mike Golick Jr., who or what receives it?
Ooh. The Gojo Rose of the Week.
Yeah, we do this every week.
Yeah, I know we do it every week. And we actually forgot to
Wednesdays.
do it on the show this week because Brandon was off on Monday. That being said, I'm going to give my Gojo Rose of the Week to Notre Dame men's basketball coach Mike Bray.
Yeah.
Coming up tonight against Pitt, he is playing his last home game at the University of Notre Dame, coaching, I should say, his last home game at the University of Notre Dame before he steps down from the job after this year. And Mike Bray told the media something yesterday when he met with them, which is that he has never once in the 30-plus years that he has been a coach at Notre Dame been to the linebacker, an historic institution. For anyone unaware, the linebacker is a bar on Notre Dame's campus that has been a beacon in the night since my father was in college back there. I'm pretty sure there's still vomit from when Dad was there in college inside that building. It's an institution that's primarily for post-grad, so I can understand. I never stepped foot in there as an undergrad. I am excited for Mike Bray. He said there's no curfew. He's going to go and burn that thing down tonight. So, Coach Bray, congratulations on an incredible run at Notre Dame, and make sure you enjoy yourself. I think they still got Buck Hunter in there. Do not use the bathrooms. Trust me, I've been in there. You don't want parts on that.
Brandon Newman, hand out your Gojo Rose of the Week.
I got to give it to Travis Kelce. This weekend,
Okay.
he is set to host Saturday Night Live. And as much of
What?
a character as he is,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
after the game, you guys didn't know this?
I knew it. Emerson did.
No.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
sorry.
yes. As much of the character as he is on post-game interviews when they're actually interviewing Patrick Mahomes, I'm very interested in seeing him with the spotlight firmly on his shoulders. I'm sure he's going to have a black turtleneck with a little gold chain. I'm trying not to talk about how he speaks. But anyways, I'm very excited to see him try to intentionally make people laugh on the big stage.
No way he's funnier than Peyton Manning, right?
I mean, there's no way. There's no way. There's Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, like NFL players typically do really bad on that stage, but I think Travis Kelce has a little hope to him.
I think they got to massage him the right way. He's a
Ooh,
wrestling
yeah.
promo guy. Let him fly that way. If you want someone to beat Peyton Manning, let Baker Mayfield host SNL. I promise you, the guy may be a backup for the rest of his NFL career. He'd be the best athlete to have ever hosted Saturday Night Live.
Okay,
and I stand on that.
Last time you gave out a Baker Mayfield take on the show, it didn't end up all that well. Didn't turn out.
I
all that
regret
great.
nothing.
You can stand by this one because we'll probably never see
Yeah.
this come to fruition. Mike, we're about to roll a clip from your Gojo convo with O'Shea Jackson Jr., who stars in Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine.
What was your biggest takeaway from this interview?
I think one that you're going to get everything out of this movie that you wanted to see. O'Shea kind of took us behind some of his fears coming onto this movie about what would and wouldn't be included. And then just what an awesome guy O'Shea Jackson Jr. is. Obviously, everyone knows his father, Ice Cube, but what he's made for himself as a career, the movie he actually attributes to being the turning point in his career, and just overall his approach to carrying on a pretty interesting family legacy that they've got both in music and in film. So he was awesome. Ton of fun, and everyone's gonna love Cocaine Bear. I have personally sampled the movie, not the cocaine, and it was a great time.
Good. Thank you for clarifying.
There is an Attack of the Meth Gator movie in the works right now. Same company that makes Sharknado is coming out with Attack of the Meth Gator.
Of course they are.
Anywho, guys, thank you so much. Appreciate it, everyone. Make sure you listen to the Gojo podcast every day. It drops every weekday morning with that dynamic duo we just talked to. Grab it wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio app, and here on The Sweat every Wednesday. So yes, as Jesse just teased, here is Mike catching up with O'Shea Jackson Jr., one of the stars of Cocaine Bear, which is in theaters right now.
Getting to walk in with Cocaine Bear as the product that you're peddling to, pretty decent sales job to be on the other side of, for sure.
Yeah, it's weird. It's just weird having like daytime news and like daytime shows talk about cocaine so openly. It's just like I got Al Roker talking to me. So, Cocaine Bear, and I'm like, oh yeah, you're right.
It does. It's so different because I feel like because we're right about the same age, and I feel like growing up, all of that stuff in the middle of the day, it just didn't get touched. It was daytime soap operas and Sports Center. Like, we didn't get to hear all that. So yeah, you leading the charge on that's like cussing in front of your grandparents for the first time. It just feels
exactly
wrong.
Yeah. It's that same feeling of yep, that's what I'm here for. When I did I was doing Kenobi, and I'm on there. It's Disney, Star Wars, and best job I ever had. And I'm kicking it with Ewan McGregor. And, it's like, in my mind, I'm like, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi. And he's like, yeah, so, Shay, what are you doing next? And I'm like, Cocaine Bear? And he's like, when Obi-Wan Kenobi looks at you and goes, oh, that sounds like fun. So, but everybody gets a kick out of that title, dude. And when they hear it's based on a true story, it's like, oh, dude, you have to do that movie.
Oh, hook, line, and sinker. Listen, as someone who now has to introduce themselves as a podcaster, I understand it feels a little strange to put some titles in front of people when you're bringing that out in public. It's like, no, I swear, like I don't live in my folks' basement. This is a paid gig now. We're good. No, man. So it is interesting too, because now I feel like at this point we've seen pretty publicized tweeting this movie into existence, which, man, what a hero for all the rest of us who are staying on that hell site until its absolute dying day, that good things can come from Twitter. So you tweet about the movie, Elizabeth Banks, who's directing the movie, sees the tweet, and you guys connect. So from seeing and reading about it on Twitter to when you first get that script in front of you, what was that first read through like when all of a sudden you see, all right, this is what Cocaine Bear's about to sound like?
I was happy that the bear is actually showcased as much as it is. It's like it's the elephant in the room. Like, people are what you're here to see. And we don't waste any time in getting right to it. And I love that. We don't I'm a fan of all type of creature movies, and part of, just like creature movie etiquette is you kind of tease a little bit. When are we getting to Jaws, bro? Where's Jaws at? You told me Jaws was gonna be here. And right off the jump, you guys are in for a ride with Koki. She is a problem in every sense of the word. And the first time I saw it was at the premiere. So to see, what you read come to light is always fun. It's always, it always is a butterflies, goosebumps type feeling. And so, man, it's exactly what I read. All right.
It's like, no, this bear is on a ton of cocaine. Yes, check.
Yeah.
Check.
100%.
Cofield, look at this. Where is Cocaine Bear on the list of Best Picture odds on the DK Sportsbook? Where the hell is it?
That's for the Oscars, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Because when the Oscars, like coming up in a week or two.
I will say this is pretty wild that Best Picture.
Yeah.
As you can see, Top Gun Maverick is nominated in this category, which was a great movie. And I think more movies like that should be nominated for Best Picture, like movies that people actually see.
Yeah,
and are, like
the Marvel
interested in.
movies and all that stuff.
Yeah, I haven't seen a single other one of those movies.
What is all that? You got to be a hardcore movie dude like Billy here behind the Roman camera who sees like everything. 'Cause
Yeah.
he doesn't go anywhere, he doesn't do anything, so he just watches like movies. And
Len, you're the California. Len Hochberg and Jeff Ork are here, by the way.
We're gonna talk some golf now,
because
baby.
we will be talking golf,
Wait,
but
I have a segue here. Perfect.
no, wait, I had a segue.
What is your segue?
That Len's a California guy, and we're
Okay.
talking about Best Picture, and I'm just
Okay.
wondering what his take is.
Len?
I'm old enough to remember when only 5 pictures and not 47 were nominated for
Thank you,
Best
Len.
Picture.
Yes, ridiculous now. We got a laundry list. We got like Andy Reid's play card of that's how many. That's what we need now just to keep track of this stuff. Ridiculous. 5 movies. That's all we need to nominate. I can't keep track of 20.
Andy Reid's play card is just a menu from Waffle House. That's all it is. My segue was award season because from the Oscars to Len Hochberg, who was just named FSWA DFS Writer of the Year. We're not worthy, Len. Go ahead. What's your victory speech?
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yeah, I love to write. It was a great thrill. I also love my time with you guys talking.
You couldn't do it
every
without
week,
us.
The 3 of you. So I'm ready to go.
If Len keeps winning these awards too, we're going to be starting off the sweat instead of like being the last segment. So you keep going, Len. You're helping us all out here.
Gentlemen, major season is coming, all right? So you will eventually land in the A block once the Masters rolls around. Although this week at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, it feels like a major because it's another one of those elevated events here, guys. 44 of the top 50 players in the official World Golf Rankings are teeing it up. No tournament has featured more top 50 players since the championship, the Open Championship at St. Andrews last summer. So let's start it off here. API, Len, in the 10K department, who would be the dude to roster?
Yeah, here we go again. Scheffler, Rahm, McIlroy. It's going to be a weekly occurrence, and John Rahm is certainly the man right now. Won 5 of his last 9. Is John Rahm going to win like 9 times like Vijay Singh did in 2004? I don't know about that. I don't know. Interestingly, he's only played this tournament once before. That's a kind of thing. A lot of guys skip this tournament. Scheffler here every year. Rory definitely here every year. Rory and Scheffler have won it. It's crazy to go against John Rahm, and that's probably too strong a word, going against. But if I had to pick, I'd certainly go Rory and Scheffler over Rahm this week. Rahm can't win again, can he, Jeff?
Geez, I hope not. It's gonna be a bad week for me if he does. Look, the one of the top 3, the guy I'm kind of out on here, strangely enough, is going to be Rory. I just don't like that it's windy conditions here. He started out well last year, but he faded as the conditions got worse. And I think what you're seeing too is, he started his season over in Europe, and Scheffler and Rahm, they played the West Coast. They're well in tune here. Scheffler gaining like 9 strokes on approach at the the WM Phoenix Open, which I think is a very good course comp, TPC Scottsdale, for this week. And we obviously saw Scheffler win both those events last year. I would actually go with Scheffler here. I think especially for larger field tournaments on DraftKings, you're going to get leverage by going Scheffler over Rahm. You're going to get lower ownership on Scheffler. I think that the price difference makes it enough to do that. But look, like, if you're just saying, I need one of these guys to win this week, Jeff, my life's on the line, yeah, you just take Rahm. because I think he is going to put together some kind of Vijay Singh season. Maybe he doesn't get to 9 wins, but I could see him getting to 7 or 8. And he is just so confident right now that he's a pretty scary fade. So I'll lean Scheffler here for the leverage, for the GPP purposes, and just to keep this segment interesting. But Rahm is clearly the top player in the world right now.
All right, Jeff, take us to that 9K range. Who are you looking at here?
Yeah, I mean, the 9K range is pretty stacked. And I mean, we've got some really interesting prices. You know, Justin Thomas at 9,600, I think is really interesting. You know, you've got down there Cantlay coming off a good week, but I'm going to go all the way to the bottom. I'm going to stick with my guy here, Victor Hovland at 9K flat. He's gained strokes, you know, he's been trending well in the approach category, gained over 3 strokes at Riviera. He tested out new equipment after the TOC. That seems to be coming into form here. Victor Hovland, his troubles are always around the green. That's pretty much it. He's going to be just a beacon of consistency off the tee, but around the green, it seems to always get him. He has gained strokes at Bay Hill each of the past 2 seasons around the green. The around the green, you know, just play here, it's not as tough as you would think. Yes, players miss greens, but there's not as many like these sort of shaved runoff areas that present players with really tough chips. And Hovland seems to just be comfortable here as well. Almost won this event last season. I think Hovland is trending in the right direction. He's got a really good Florida record. He's had 3 runner-up finishes in the States. In this state, excuse me. I think Hovland is in for a big week, and I really like him in the outright market as well.
All right, Len, talk to me about that 9K range. Who do you like here?
Yeah, this is really stacked, and we're going to continue to see this with all the top players in the world. They all can't be in the 10,000s. I'm looking at some guys, 4 guys in the lower half of the 9,000s. Colin Morikawa, 9,500. He's finished 2nd, 3rd, and 6th already this year. We're just at the beginning of March. You know, he could have won at least one of the tournaments. He should have won at least one of the tournaments already. 9,400, Will Zalatoris, he seems to be back from his back injury. He's going to be probably the most popular play in this lower 9,000. Putting very, very well. Last year entering the Arnold Palmer, Will Zalatoris, 164th in strokes gained putting. This year, 27th. If he can be a big-time putter on a regular basis, he's going to win more tournaments. And these guys are almost in the 8,000s. Xander Schauffele at 92, Patrick Cantlay at 91. This is wild to me. Xander Schauffele, I really like him this week with this win. Normally driving off the tee, not the most important thing, even though it's a long course. It's a very wide course. But I think with the really extreme wind we're going to see this week, Xander Schauffele, one of the best drivers of the golf ball. I added emphasis to him because of that this week. You could fit 3 of these guys in your lineup in the 9s because don't fear the 6,000s. More than half the field makes the cut, 65 in ties, 120. A lot of 6s are going to make the cut.
All right, Jeff, let's go to the 8K range here. Jordan Spieth, Tom Kim. I mean, I know Jason Day has been making you hot and bothered all season long, but I'm looking at Matt Fitzpatrick at 8-8 because he has some of the best tournament history in this field, working on a 4-year streak of top 10 finishes, including a runner-up in 2019.
He does, but there's concerns with Matthew Fitzpatrick. Neck injury sort of hampered him early in the season. He has not been good ball striking. If I was going to go with someone in the higher 8K range, I'd go with Cameron Young at 8,700. But the guy I'm really targeting here is just a player who's, I think, getting a little bit disrespected in the outright odds as well. Hideki Matsuyama at 8,200. Yeah, he's coming off a missed cut, but you know he lost like 3 strokes putting on the greens at Riviera. This is a completely different scenario here at Bay Hill. Bermuda greens, you know, just a complete switch in that regard as well. And one thing we know about Hideki, like the ball striking is probably going to be, at the very least, above average. I mean, this is a player who's just great with mid to long irons. He's really consistent off the tee. And, you know, he had some health concerns at the end of 2022, but he's been playing really regularly. He flashed for a bit at the Farmers. I think he's just coming in underrated, and I think his price at 8,200. I mean, if you're going to give me Hideki at 82, whereas like Sung J M is at 89, even a guy like Tom Kim at 84, I'll take Hideki on a course where he's played numerous times. He's a very good wind player as well. You look at strokes gained tee to green in windy conditions. He's right up there, top 5. I think Hideki's underrated this week, and I really like this 8,200 price.
All right, Len, you driving the Tom Kim Caravan in the $8,000 range?
I'm afraid not this week. Tom Kim, he's just not been there this year. Maybe, you know, settling into that sophomore year. Sometimes guys take a little bit of a step back, but You know, the 8K range, this is the category where I'm going to talk least, if I can ever talk least. I'm really looking at only two guys that excite me, and they're pretty chalky. Jason Day, 8,500. You know, we all know how great he's playing now. Hard to remember, he won this tournament back in 2016. Granted, he was kind of winning everything that year. 8,300, Tyrrell Hatton. This clearly is the best United States course for Tyrrell Hatton. He won it a few years ago, second last year, fourth once before a few years back. This is a good time to say, don't stay away from Tyrrell Hatton if you like Tyrrell Hatton, because he's going to be highly owned. You have 5 other options on your lineup to separate yourself. Don't shoot yourself in the foot. Don't double cross yourself.
All right, real quick.
Good advice.
Yeah, that is great advice.
Thank you.
Okay, 7K or less. Where are you rolling with this one, Len?
Yeah, I'm starting to like some guys here. You know, we could, if I want to do all those 9,000s that I just talked about, getting into the 7,000s, Fleetwood, probably a popular play at 7,500. One guy I was a little wary of, but again, with my extra added emphasis on driving the golf ball this week, Gary Woodland at 7,400. He was 5th here last year. He's not the same player he was. He doesn't do it automatically. He's not the same player he was 5 years ago, but he had a good week last week, still driving the ball really far. 7,300, Tom Hoagie. Your colleagues at DraftKings can continue, I think, to disrespect Tom Hoagie, 30th in the world, 7,300, really one of the best iron players in the game. Getting into the sixes, Patrick Rogers at 69, he makes the cut here every year. Danny Willett at 68, he can be great one year, terrible one week, terrible the next. He was top 20 at the Genesis. And I want to give a shout out to Zach Johnson. He may be on the wrong side of the draw this week, early, late, but this is his Ryder Cup year. He's busy, but he's played 4 times. He's made every cut. 12th at the Honda. He's played Bay Hill. This will be his 20th time. He's missed the cut once. He's $6,500.
Jeff, talk to me.
Yeah, Ricky Fowler at 7,700. Really like the way he's trending. He's trending well with the longer to mid irons as well, which I think is a great sign for Bay Hill. He's gained over 4 strokes on approach in 3 straight starts. You want to target guys trending well in that category this week. And then I am definitely on Danny Willett. The wind gets up, and it's going to, and the weather gets ugly. This guy might be the best all around the green player in this field right now. At the very least, he's like top 5. It's going to help him. He's got some solid results at Bay Hill. I think he's a player who could really, really potentially be there on Sunday if the scoring stays really high and, you know, there's just no birdies to be had. So give me Danny Willett at 6,800.
All right, gentlemen, we will see you later. Jeff, I'll see you. We'll dive more into odds around the Arnold Palmer tonight for a Wednesday edition of the slate at 5 o'clock with Nick Fryer. But coming up, I know, dude, tell me about it. Coming up, we got our final break of the show. We got our final block of the show. Paul Bruno and AJ Schultz will join us to talk about some of the moves being made ahead of the NHL trade deadline. Maybe the impact that Patrick Kane's addition to the Rangers has had on their championship odds.
Yo, DraftKings, y'all got the most ways to bet on NBA players. I'm hyped. Hitting props, that's my dog. Stack up buckets, blocks, and boards on my boy, or superstar going one-on-one against another superstar. Oh, it's on. And all these bets are on my man's dedicated page? Now you spoiling me, DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and bet $5 to win $150 in bonus bets on your team to win. Action so good, why bet anywhere else? That's my move. He used my move.
This season, DraftKings Sportsbook is your place to bet on the greatest sport on ice. There's so many ways to get closer to the game. And with this latest offer, you can win big. Now that is deserving of some victory stick taps.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, sign up with the promo code, and take advantage of this great offer.
And get in on the action with an official sports betting partner of the NHL.
You know, betting without a game plan is a little like skating a giant ramp without helmet and pads. I wouldn't risk it. And I wouldn't bet without a game plan. DraftKings Sportsbook provides you with tools to set a realistic budget and time limits, so you're ready to bet responsibly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook and Casino apps to learn more about how you can practice safe bets.
With
With DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports, you can play for millions with a lineup full of big NBA stars. Maybe you throw in a three-point specialist that's been around the league, seen a thing or two. You know, if you want. Download DraftKings and play for your share of millions. Action's so good, why play NBA anywhere else?
All right, trade deadline around the NHL. That is coming up 3 o'clock Eastern time on Friday. The date of that day is going to be March 3rd. So you can see a lot of new faces and new places, including, yes, Patrick Kane. After weeks of speculation, he's now on the Rangers. The Blackhawks dealing the star winger to the Big Apple as the Rangers load up here for a stretch run of the regular season. We have some questions about a lot of these moves being made, and these two have answers, hopefully. The riveting RotoWire duo of AJ Scholes and Paul Bruno.
Yeah, guys, Kane finally on his way to the Rangers. We've just been talking about this for weeks. Will not play tonight. Expected to be in the lineup Thursday versus the Sens at MSG. AJ, like, what impact is Kane going to make in New York?
I mean, it's going to be a huge one. You look at these top two lines, once he plays, you've got Tarasenko on the first line. You've got Panarin, Kreider, Kane. I mean, these are probably arguably two of the best lines in the NHL right now. Just so complete. And that gives them a third line of all their young guys, which was really successful last year as well. The biggest question is, how are these guys all going to share power play minutes? You're not going to fit all 6 of them on one power play unit, so you're going to have to shuffle that up. But I think regardless, Kane will have a huge impact on this team. The question is, can they make a deep run in the postseason? The East is ridiculous. I mean, they might have to face the Devils in the first round. That's not a lock for the Rangers. You get past that, there's a combination of Boston, Tampa, or Toronto. Their East is just a murderer's row right now. Everybody has had to load up just to hopefully even make the playoffs at this point. So while he will have an impact, the long-term playoff implications are still questionable given how deep the East is right now.
Yeah, Paul, their odds got slightly better, plus 1,200 to plus 1,100 to win the Cup. Are they contenders now, though?
Oh, definitely. They were always contenders, but they've really solidified things. And let's not forget that they are going to reunite Panarin with Kane. They were dynamic when they were together in Chicago. So look for that pairing to be a dynamic duo on Broadway. All the stuff that AJ mentioned was true. And credit to the Rangers. You know, many teams do a rebuild and they strip things down and they go to the bottom of the standings. This team stripped things down, but they did it on the fly, and they stayed competitive through the whole way. And now they're on the verge of really being a top echelon team. But to AJ's point, can you imagine the fact that, look, at 2 teams in the Metro, 2 teams in the Atlantic are going to be gone after the first round, and that's because of matchups between Toronto and Tampa and the Rangers and the Devils. Those are 4 of the top 8 teams in hockey. And the sad thing is that 4 of them, 2 of them are going to be gone after the first playoff round. It's ridiculous.
Paul, what are your thoughts on the moves your Leafs have made up to this point? Are they done, or are they gearing up for more here ahead of Friday's deadline? I'm seeing reports that they could be on Chychrun watch here.
Yeah, I don't see that one happening. I think that's going to cost them a little bit too much, so I'd be really shocked. But full credit to what Kyle Dubas did yesterday and in the last week, for that matter. All the trades that yesterday went down after AJ and I completed our recording of our podcast. That was a bit of a disappointment, but we look forward to talking about it next Tuesday on our show. So there's a little plug for your listeners to follow us at Statsman22 and AJ Scholes24 on Twitter for those details. But the Leafs picked up O'Reilly, picked up Lafferty, McCabe, Schenn, and Gustafsson. The toughness quotient on this team just went up dramatically, and they even recouped a first-round draft pick, which could be an interesting value and potential future trade in the next few days, or an asset that they can parlay to something else in the offseason. So 4 stars effort for what Kyle Dubas accomplished yesterday, and the fact is they may not be finished. I think the most notable assets they brought in will really solidify the defense, with McCabe and Schenn making it a minefield in front of the Leaf net, which has been a pretty nice place to stand around and deflect pucks for most opponents this year.
Hey, AJ, what was the most impactful trade yesterday other than Kane to the Rangers? I know there's another 2010s franchise icon on his way out the door, and that'd be Jonathan Quick. And, man, Kings fans and then reportedly players are absolutely pissed about this dude being shipped off to the lowly Blue Jackets.
Well, and the news this morning is that that may not be the last move for Jonathan Quick.
Okay.
Columbus is reportedly going to try and ship him out before Friday to get him to a potential contender and see if they can find a fit there and get some more value out of him. I was surprised by that move. Quick, obviously two-time Stanley Cup champion with the Kings, has been there forever. But they have been slowly transitioning away. Phoenix Copley has taken more and more of the starts lately. They get Gavrikov in to help with their blue line. So I don't hate the move from the Kings side of it. But the biggest impact trade, I think, was actually Matthias Ekholm to the Edmonton Oilers. He's not an offensive powerhouse by any stretch of the imagination, but he's been a shutdown defender in what we've called the Predators' D factory for over a decade now. And goals are not what Edmonton needs right now. They need to stop goals, and Matthias Ekholm can do that. I think he's probably the biggest impact outside of Kane that we saw move yesterday.
All right, Linus Ullmark, he carried the Bruins last night against the Flames. 54 save performance in their overtime win.
Yeah, they
absolutely
were
outrageous.
Firing at will on him.
Yeah, Vezina favorite. But should he be in the running for the Hart Trophy, Paul? What do you think?
Absolutely. And you know what? The notion a week ago was ridiculous to me. But I saw that game last night, and I know what he's done all season long. But the crazy thing is McDavid is 26 points ahead of his teammate Draisaitl in the overall points standings, guys. And that alone, that margin of victory should guarantee that he wins the Hart Trophy as the league's MVP. But the fact of the matter is the Oilers are only 4 points up on Calgary for the last wild card spot. You can't give an MVP to a player that whose team misses the playoffs, can you? And that's why I think spending a few dollars on the Ullmark bet for the Hart Trophy is a good play, a smart play, I think, because I wouldn't vote for McDavid if the team didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, AJ, McDavid clear-cut favorite at minus 2,000 right now, best skater by a mile. But could voters consider giving it to a goalie? Ullmark went from 2,400 to plus 2,200 after last night's performance.
Well, here's the problem for Ullmark, and I think he'll get some votes here. But realistically, the only time that a goalie has won the Hart since the lockout was Carey Price, and he played 66 games that year, winning 41 of them, I believe. Now, Ullmark could hit the 40 win mark, but he's definitely not going to play 60-some games. That's just not something that happens in today's NHL anymore. And the fact that you've got McDavid over 50 goals for the first time in his career, likely going to set a career high in overall points, could push for, 140, 150. How do you not give that guy the Hart Trophy? I agree with what Paul's saying. If they don't make the playoffs, it would certainly hurt his value there in terms of winning the Hart. But ultimately, I just don't think Ullmark is going to play enough games to really, truly contend for the Hart Trophy.
All right, gentlemen, got one more for you before you two take off. 6 games tonight on the NHL slate. So who's your favorite overall DFS play on DraftKings this evening, Paul?
I'm looking at the puck line. There's some really attractive options. The Rangers over the Flyers, plus 115. They should win that one easily. The Leafs should be fired up in Edmonton, plus 195. A very healthy payout on the puck line there. I think they'll come out blazing. And then Colorado on the puck line against the Devils at home, plus 200. I like that play too. There's no team that's playing better than the defending champs right now.
Any DFS recommendations, though? Fantasy?
I think you got to go to the Leafs top line and top 2 lines and say, you know what, sprinkle in a little value on Nylander, $7,400, McMarner, $6,200. Then look at Panarin. He should be fired up. Only $6,000 against Philadelphia. That's a screaming hot value. So you don't even have to spend to the top of the board, guys, to find good options tonight, affordable ones. I might be able to pick all 3 of these guys in my lineup this evening, for instance.
All right, AJ, give me your top fantasy and draft DK Sportsbook play. Good Lord, I can't talk.
It's okay.
All right, so I think at the top of the price range, I think Alex Ovechkin makes the most sense when you consider he's got the easiest matchup. McDavid and Matthews are going up against each other. Jack Hughes and McKinnon are going up against each other. So Ovechkin, easiest matchup at the top of the price range. Further down, Paul mentioned all the additions for the Leafs. I think Sam Lafferty would be a solid option depending on where the lines shake out for Toronto, but he's just 3,100. On the DK Sportsbook, this is going to sound outrageous, but how about the Flyers tonight at plus 170 as they go against the Rangers? here's the thing: Patrick Kane's not playing tonight, and in order to get him, they had to really jiggle the cap here. They're going to have 11 forwards and maybe only 5 defensemen because there's an injury to Ryan Lindgren. So they're going to be playing for sure 1 man down tonight, possibly 2. And so I think perhaps it's a good shot for the Flyers to steal one here.
All right, good stuff, guys. Thank you so much. That is going to do it. That's a show for us. Jesse Cofield, Emerson Latzia. We will be back tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time
I hope so.
to bring you another version of The Sweat. We can't wait to see you then.
Gonna be good.